What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We're back in the garage today working on, you guessed it, the blacked out quad. We received a part today. Super psyched, super pumped. Huge thank you goes out to Rekluse Motorsports, Rekluse clutch. We got our Radius CX clutch in today. So today we're gonna install that. We're gonna also swap out the basket. This is the 8 rivet OEM basket, 2009, 2010. Along with the washer, same year, 2009, 2010. We got all our tools here. We already took the brake lever off, so this is relatively easy, guys. I've done this before. There's no oil in the engine, so we don't have to worry about making a mess when we take the cover off. If you are doing this when the quad has oil in it, the best thing to do is just tip it over on 2 wheels. That'll allow all the oil to kind of drain in on the left side. You won't make a mess. I would recommend, if you're doing a new clutch, it's probably a good idea to drain all the oil and work like a gentleman. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna soak the plates in oil for probably 15-20 minutes while we get the basket done and get everything set up and laid out. So let's get to work. All right, guys, step one, we're gonna take off the factory cover. It's just an 8mm socket. Next up, we're gonna remove the pressure plate, just a 10mm, 3 bolts. Take out these little rubber cushions. Then you can take off the pressure plate. Most of the clutch pack will probably come out, so just take it all. You can remove the thrust washer. Then you'll have to go ahead and just bend the tab back that's on the hub nut. I just use a flathead and some pliers, also known as a hammer. 30mm socket for the hub nut. We have our handy Tusk basket tool. This thing is great. We will reuse the nut, but we will use the new included washer from Rekluse. Then just remove the hub and remove the basket. This is just for my case because I am changing the basket. We will not reuse this washer. We'll use the new one. All right, we have our 8 rivet OEM basket. We can shove that in there. You can kind of rotate it so it locks in and it'll push in just like that. Make sure it's in all the way. Otherwise it will mess up the final install. So that looks pretty good. Put on our new 2009, 2010 washer. Then we have our Rekluse hub. Push that in. The Rekluse washer. And then your OEM nut. We'll hand tighten it for now, and then we're going to torque it down. The manual, the Rekluse manual recommends 50 foot-pounds, so we're going to go that. I think the OEM manual might be a little more, but we'll go 50 and just see how that feels. We'll put our basket holder in place. Start with the gun just to snug it. And finish it with the torque wrench. All right, now we just gotta bend the little tab over against the hub nut. I always pre-bend the tab so it's a little easier to catch before I put it on. So that's that, just like that. All right guys, before we put the clutch pack in, we gotta put all our basket sleeves in. They just slide into the grooves. This will help prevent grooving on the basket. These things are actually such a good idea. It'll definitely keep your basket looking brand new forever. I've been running this clutch setup for a while, and this newest clutch, the Radius CX, is definitely the best one yet. I've had great luck with it. Pretty much do new frictions once a season, once a year. They definitely last. The only time you'd have an issue is if you overheated the quad bad enough, then you might want to check the plates and change them if they're smoked. But besides that, these things are awesome. I actually started to put the clutch pack in and I'm like, shit, I forgot to put the basket sleeves in, so I had to pull those out. Not a big deal. All right, now it's time for the clutch pack. Like I said, start with a steel, and then it's the EXP disc. You might just have to adjust your basket sleeves, push them all the way out so this stuff fits. Once you get the first couple, they'll go in pretty easy. Everything's kind of sticky because of the oil. This one right here. You might have to use a pick. You can use a pick just to kind of push the sleeve in. It looks like it's this one that's giving me a little trouble. There we go. All right, then it's another steel. All right, and then you're gonna work in your torque drive plates, and basically it's every other. So you'll do a friction, and then you'll do a steel, and so on and so forth until you end with a steel. A couple of these things kind of sticking. All right. One is kicking my butt. There we go. Doesn't help that my hands are all oily. So we're gonna put the pressure plate in right now, but we're not gonna put the thrust washer in just yet. This is part of the adjustment procedure to set it up. So we'll pop this in, and we're just gonna use 3 of the bolts for now. Then we're gonna remove this little quarter turn adjust fastener right here. That'll come out. There's a spring attached to it, so make sure you don't lose it. And then we're gonna turn this inner ring counterclockwise until it stops. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now we can remove the pressure plate. More than likely you'll have these steel and a friction might be stuck to it, so we just make sure we put that back. All right, then what we're gonna do is we're going to mark, I'm gonna mark it right where the little quarter turn fastener goes, right here and right on the hub. So I have a point of reference, and then we're gonna turn this thing 1 full turn counterclockwise. So we're back lined up, and then we're gonna go +3 of the indents where that quarter turn fastener locks in. So we have 1, 2, 3. So then we can take that quarter turn fastener and pop it back in. Make sure it's locked in all the way. Now we can install the thrust washer, and then pop the pressure plate back on, and then put all the bolts back in. You're gonna alternate from red and blues. They have different springs for the quads. Hands are super slippery from the frickin' oil. There we go. Now I won't be able to break this thing in, obviously, because I don't have the head yet. So maybe we'll do that in a separate video, but I did do one of these, I think last year or the year before, 2021. So if you want to check that video out, it does show the break-in procedure. I will go over it with you guys at the end. I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to torque these with the top end missing. I can try. think it said 10 foot-pounds, so we'll just try. I don't know, it might spin. Yeah, it's gonna spin. All right, yeah, I have no way to hold it. I always use my impact. It's on low, so it'll be fine. And for the best part, we're gonna put the cover on. Make sure to check your OEM cover. The dowels usually are stuck in the OEM cover. So just take those out, put them back in the engine. This is a brand new gasket, so I'm not gonna change it. If you do have a very, if you have a engine that has a lot of time on it, then I would change the gasket, but this one's brand new without it being ran yet. So we're gonna just reuse it. You can line that up, pop the cover on, that thing looks good. We'll go ahead and throw back on our brake lever. I'm pretty confident that once we get this thing fired up, we will not have to do any more internal adjustments. We should be able to do everything we need to do at the lever. So obviously once we get it running, we're gonna have to do a couple heat cycles on the engine to break it in, and then we can do the Rekluse break-in. So if you guys would like to see that in a separate video, just drop it in the comments, let me know. If not, like I said, in the 2021 build, I did that. I think I did it after the install. So if you do need it for reference, you can see it there. All right, so that is a wrap. She looks good. Fingers crossed we see the rest of our parts this week. So if you're watching this video, BNR, please get me my parts this week. Well, as for the braking procedure, I'll show you guys. So basically what you do, you start the bike up, you got to check all the free play gain and free play gap, which I can't do because it's not running. I do have proper free play, but I can't check the gap until we start the quad. So I will do that once that's done. But once that's done, you're going to start the quad, put it in neutral, and you're going to give it 10 revs, about 5 grand, about half throttle, do it 10 times, let it idle down, and then do it again. Repeat that 10 times. And then you will do the same procedure, but in first gear, you'll do 10 roll-on starts, and that's without using the clutch, all right? Same thing, about 5,000 RPMs, 10 times. And then once you've done that, you'll do the same thing in second gear, all right? 10 times, let it idle down, give it throttle. Remember, no clutch. This is going to be without clutch in all these procedures. Once that's done, you will put the quad back in neutral and check your free play gain and free play gap. If all is good, you're ready to ride. If any of those things are off, you'll have to go back to the manual and make some adjustments. But I've never really had to go back. Once I've done this, I've always gotten it on the first shot. So it's pretty simple. Like I said, these clutches have been bulletproof for me. We have one in the practice quad. This one has almost 80 hours on it with the same plates, the same friction, the same EXP pack. So they're solid, and I beat the hell out of this thing, guys. It's all about maintenance. You gotta change your oil. Don't let it go too long. Obviously, you guys know on the race quad, I do it after every single ride or race. I don't care if it's a 15-minute ride, an hour ride, whatever it is, the oil gets changed along with the air filter. Practice quad, I go like 10 hours. The manual recommends 10 hours. The practice quad, I usually keep it right around 10 hours. usually like every 3 to 4 rides. That's how that kind of works out. So that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, drop some comments, let me know what you think. If you're not yet, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.